have a journal I wrote in when I was in my early 20s. It's full of questions about my life at that age and what things might mean. It has accounts of friendships, dates, jobs, and family. Some of it's funny, but throughout most of it, I see a younger version of myself trying desperately to fit into a world she simply wasn't built for. She was already trying to manipulate her beautiful, creative mind into what she believed was the correct way to live. She was trying to find her place in the world. After rereading it cover to cover recently, one word my 20 something self used more than any other stood out: wait. After I closed the journal's hard navy cover, I smiled with quiet amusement and thought, no wonder at 51 I simply couldn't stand to do nothing about my otherness any longer. I've been waiting 30 years. Welcome back. Today I'm talking about the wait, what those of us with neurodivergence have endured while trying to find our place in the world, and the direction I'm headed now that I'm beginning to untangle the knot ADHD-related demoralization created in my life. Just wait. It'll happen when it's supposed to. Words echoed generation after generation in an attempt to offer hope to impatient young people searching for their place in the world. I've spent so much of my life searching for the place that feels like it's mine, really mine, a place where a mask isn't required and who I am is enough. More often than not, I've settled for good enough or almost right places, just to have some sense of stability and normalcy. The contortion it takes to make those places work always grows tiring, and eventually, a new place has to be sought out. The wake of my life is strewn with friendships, relationships, jobs, and hobbies, all discarded once it became clear that my authenticity still wasn't truly recognized. It will happen statements have always felt incredibly ambiguous to me. They don't give me anything solid to hold on to. And for a neurodivergent mind that craves clarity, that kind of ambiguity can drive you mad. Friday, I picked my daughter up from school, and since it was cold and gray outside, a movie felt like the perfect way to spend the afternoon. We put on our cozy clothes, pulled out the blankets, and curled up on the couch to watch Wicked. As we sat there pointing out which of Galinda's outfits we loved most, I realized how deeply I related to Elphaba. She was different from the start, and no matter how hard she tried, no matter how much she wanted it, nothing was ever going to change who she was. She was strong, she was smart, she was talented, and still, she wasn't understood. She wasn't heard. Her desires weren't met. Not until she found connection. Not until she found friendship. Not until someone truly saw her. Living with ADHD has often felt like being an outsider to me, like standing on the other side of a window, watching people do the very things I want to do. I'm not a jealous person, but I do feel envious when I watch how effortlessly some people seem to move through life. They make decisions, they follow through, they keep going. I know that might not be the full truth, but it looks that way often enough. That straight, linear path can feel incredibly appealing when my own feels winding and unpredictable. ADHD related demoralization reinforced that gap over time, training me to expect disappointment before I ever reached for hope. In the final scenes of Wicked, Elphaba tries to give herself wings, casting incantations so she can escape the guards coming to imprison her. I commented that the spell hadn't worked, and my daughter, without a second thought, said, "Yes, it did." Her wings are on the inside. What a perfect response. She was able to recognize the magic where I had not. So that's how I'm shifting my thinking when it comes to being neurodivergent. Everyone else seems to have wings I can see, ones that let them do things easily, visibly, effortlessly. But those of us with ADHD have something else: talents, depth, insight, wings on the inside, ready to lift us once we learn how to trust them. Maybe that's why I haven't been able to find my place, because I didn't have a way to get where I wanted to be, because I didn't trust my wings yet. Wouldn't that be apropos that to get me where I want to go, I needed to find my own strength and recognize that my worth was in sharing my differences with the world instead of covering them up? Creating a place where the next generation of neurodivergent minds can belong without masking, apologizing, or shrinking feels like the work I was meant to do. I'll be back next time to talk about what comes after waiting, when belonging stops being a question and becomes a choice. Until then, give yourself grace. You've been listening to Demoralized with Molly Kellogg-Schmauch.